I've got my. By the way, I have my. Hold on, let me get it in the other hand. I have my PC Engine mug again today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I like that one. I've
these
never
are
seen it
made
before.
by. I don't know if you know this guy, Graphics Gear.
Oh,
That's
yes.
like his
Yeah,
name
yeah.
on Twitter. Graphics Gear.
Mhm.
Like he makes like the replacement. I don't know if you want to call that a decal or whatever for like TurboGrafx controllers. Then he started doing NES controllers. Like you can buy. Like that's why he has this is like he had already made the artwork.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
this is the controller that would have come with a core graphics. So he started making just replacement, original controller decals, but then he branched out and he makes all these like really cool ones. But I guess since he'd already made the artwork, he sells stuff like mugs. And I thought like, what's cooler than a PC Engine mug? And the answer, of course, is nothing.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
He's sent a couple of things to my PO box, and I just don't have any like controllers to put the overlays on. They're super nice.
Yep. He does the same thing to me. He sends me these things and I'm like, oh man, these are. So what I ended up doing is I have, because he sent me some stickers as well, because he also sells stickers. Like
Yeah.
they're just stickers. They're not something that's meant to go on a controller. And I have all my gaming accessories, like separated out into plastic bins. So
Yep.
like there's a PC Engine plastic bin, there's like a Genesis plastic bin, et cetera, et cetera. And
Is
so
that what's
like
behind you there?
some of it, yes, yeah, down there.
Nice.
But there's also some over my head over here. But so the PC Engine container is festooned with stickers from Graphics Gear. But yeah, he sends me those things, and I'm like, man, I wish I had because some of them just look so cool. And I know you can buy the replacement injection molded PC Engine controller cases, but
Right.
man, they're expensive. And plus, I don't have a
I have one
controller that I don't.
I have a PC Engine with one of those by like what is their name, like BRG consoles or something. I don't know what it is. It's like BR or something. And they do like I really want like the Mega Drive one. I want a smoke Mega Drive one.
I don't get as into that. Like, I'm not really into console modification, like as far as like aesthetics goes. Like,
for sure.
modify for RGB or add a OD. I'm all about it. But like replacement shells, not. But that being said, if I had like a Mega Drive or a Genesis that worked just fine, but the shell was like literally damaged, then sure,
Right.
because nobody wants that anyway, right? So if you can put like a cool aftermarket shell on it, then awesome. But
Right. And I feel that way about, like if I have multiple of one system and one of them's kind of damaged, I will totally do that. Like I have a Mega Drive or a Genesis that I use that has, a Mega Amp or the dual Mega, I think it is. It's called. It's a sound mod. That you can use both sound chips. You can use a Genesis 2 sound chip or the original like YM 2612 or whatever it is.
I don't think I knew about that, but that sounds awesome.
It's made by Firebrand X.
Oh yeah, Firebrand X, yeah.
And he put that in a system, and it requires like a separate hole for like the switch.
Right.
Just toggle between them. And I'm like, well, maybe I would take that system and put that in a smoke colored case or shell, rather.
Sure, why not? But then I feel like if you're going to do that, you might as well just like whole hog it, and like now I'm going to put some LEDs in here, or like I would get crazy with it.
See, something like that. That's just too much. I don't need to have, like that shining out of the corner of my eye if I'm using it. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to do it with like a PC Engine because it has no power light. I mean, have you ever like turned your system on and like forgotten it was on?
Yes, with my PC Engine Duo
Yep.
R.
Yep.
And every time I see that, I'm like, oh, because I don't know. I think I'm damaging it, even though I don't think that's really reasonable. But
well, I mean,
still,
but it's possible.
It can't be good for it.
No,
I mean, it might not be bad for it, but it's definitely not good for it.
And you think about how long it's been on. I mean, I've accidentally left my Duo on for like over a week.
Yeah.
I
can do you one. I can do you one better than that. So like, I don't know what I don't know what PVMs you have, but I've got that BVM 20, and this, I only bring this up because this is the only piece PVM I have that's like this. But my 20 F1U or whatever has a soft power switch on the front, and then has like a rocker, like the actual power switch is on the back. Mm-hmm. And so I leave the rocker switch on all the time because if I sit down, I just hit the little soft switch and it turns the thing on. But an issue that it has is if the power goes out, when it comes back on, it turns the monitor on. I think the reason for that is you can imagine if somebody walked up to it and hit the rocker switch in the back to turn it on, they don't want to have to also hit another switch. Like, no, I just turned it on. And so it's happened before that I didn't realize, the power went out, so I need to go check. Because it's just a little fairly dim green LED down in the corner. Because it's not like the CRT really glows that much if it's on. Like, you can totally not notice that it's on. And I know I've had that monitor sitting on for like at least a week before.
And
you're talking, I mean,
power on hours.
And have you seen how much those things sell for now?
Oh, I mean,
it's ridiculous.
To an extent. I mean,
like thousands for a 20 F1U, thousands.
Yeah, I mean, I have a little BVM, like an 8-inch, like a D something, and that one, I have to put a rocker switch on that. But the reason I do that is because it's just it's annoying to me because there's like a fan in it that runs all the time. So I'm like, I need to just turn that off.
That's weird. None of mine have fans.
Well, I think it just might be because it's like a little one.
Makes sense.
It's like with a little handle on top. But holy cow, like, so we just like, I can't believe that I just did this. Or that happened. It's got to be so frustrating. Like, how did I not notice that? How did I not hear that? That soft whine. That's the whole thing. It's like getting old. You never hear like the sound of the CRT when it's far away. Like I never heard it when I was a kid, but we get people, like we had people on our videos say, whenever I was like doing an on-camera part and I had like a CRT on in the background, like it was in the recording. I was like, how do you hear that?
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Good ears,
Yeah. I can't hear that crap. That's like, it's invisible. So what I started doing is like, I just put a notch filter on it and it just like pushes that specific frequency down.
Just in case.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Only
so it's funny,
for
I wasn't
on-camera stuff though.
Right.
Because I was something on in the way in the background.
See, it wouldn't have even. I'm not smart enough to think, notch filter. Like.
Well, I didn't do it for the longest time either. So.
Yeah. So I wasn't really going to bring this up, but I feel like it's sort of germane to the conversation we're currently having.
Okay.
So like somebody sent me this email a couple days ago. Because I had that magazine read through come out. Mm-hmm. And first of all, this guy didn't say this. This guy knew better. But it's interesting. There's always a few people, like whenever I, have gameplay footage that has, and it only happens with the Sony, like the 90s. Like that's how I have them labeled in my editing software. There's the retro TV and there's the 90s TV, and
right.
The one of them is more of that old curved one, and the other one is like the flat screen Trinitron. There's always a few people that don't know, like they think that I'm actually pointing a camera at a Trinitron TV, which to me is a testament to the person that made that overlay, that it looks that good. That
I always thought
don't realize. Really but because I could see being fooled by something like that too. I'm not trying to say those people are dumb that are commenting that. I'm just saying like that's just a really really good overlay. But it was interesting because like somebody sent me this email. This guy Barry sent me this email, and he was asking just how I did that, like just out of curiosity. He's like, "Oh, is that like something you're doing in your editing software, or is that like a RetroArch overlay and a shader?" Because if you have something like RetroArch or whatever, which I'm not real familiar with, but I know you can use stuff like that,
right?
And so, I answered his email. I just explained to him what I do. And I said that, certainly what I'm doing, you could achieve the exact same results using RetroArch. It just doesn't happen to be what I do. But it was funny because it kind of got me thinking about, how like when I started my show, I kind of made a rule for myself that I wasn't going to use emulators when I captured gameplay footage.
Yeah.
Like not even for any particular reason, except that I felt like it'll just look more like correct or whatever. Mm-hmm. because, back then I wasn't even using a capture card. I was recording like, composite or S video, onto a DVD and then ripping it. So it looked like, composite or S video, video, right? And then I feel like, as time goes on, and I feel like we're all doing this, is like you keep, buying, okay, well, now I'm going to RGB mod my systems. Oh, now I'm going to get an upscaler, et cetera, and I'm going to, whatever. And all we're doing is making the footage look more and more and more like an emulator.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Which is kind of, I don't know. It's like maybe you're not but whoever of us, you're not thinking about that when you're doing it because you're just trying to chase, it'll be better this way. It's higher quality this way. And you don't realize it's like, well, why don't you just use RetroArch? Like, why are you even bothering with all this stuff?
Well, a lot of that comes down to the way the games function. Especially for us, because there's certain things that like just don't function the correct way, I guess.
Yeah.
In terms of like emulation.
I'm sure there's specific examples of that, but I would say also with your show, things get a little more technical, I would say. I mean, really, I'm just showcasing the game, right?
Well, you
like,
use here's some footage of what now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't have a point saying that. I just thought it was interesting that it's like no emulators, but then it's like, okay, well then why are you trying to make everything look so much like you're playing it in an emulator, like because it kind of goes back to something we talked about previously, which is like you almost think it would be like retro cool to go back to like, well, let's just go back to recording it, in composite, or whatever. Which I think there's something to be said for that.
There is. That's definitely something I've thought about a lot. But I mean, obviously we can't do that for our show. Like that's just not how it works. But I mean, there's certainly an appeal to playing games like that.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
But
I shouldn't have to ask this. I feel ashamed having to ask this. What episode number is this?
This is episode number 10.
Is it?
Yes, and you said that I was gonna like do it like shirtless, but I think that was a joke. I never said that.
Yeah, no, I was joking. you totally never said that.
That's for the listeners expecting me to be topless, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, in that case, you're listening to episode 10 of Here's My Question for You.
We made it. We're into the double digits, for the first time. Single digits are forever gone.
Gone. Yes. But it also
until the
I don't
reboot.
know what date. Oh, right. When we've gotten rich and we've retired, and then we sell the Here's My Question for You IP to the next generation.
Yeah.
But so I don't know what the date today is or what the date on Monday is going to be, but this is correct me if I'm wrong. I think is this not the last episode that's going to get released before Christmas? What day is Christmas even on?
So Christmas is on a Sunday, and so is New Year's this year.
Okay.
So
Christmas and New Year's coincidentally always fall on the same day of the week. I don't know if you knew that.
Yes. Well, I knew it's like a week apart. So here's the thing.
They plan it that way.
So think about it like this instead. Since we released the show on a Monday, that means. See, this will be out in, it's Thursday today, so it'll be out on the 18th. Thursday, yeah. So the episode after that, the next episode is going to be released on the 26th, the day after Christmas,
right?
Which is my
birthday.
birthday.
That's what I'm telling you. Oh, I didn't know that. Happy, well, I'll say it again later, but happy almost birthday.
I feel like my headphones are like being weird. I can't hear myself, and it's making me nervous about how it sounds. It's okay for right now.
Well, I can hear you if that helps you, but.
Okay, well, it's showing... Yeah. It's just being weird. Oh, I may have fixed it. Might be my headphones being weird, but either way, this is going to work for now.
Yeah. Right. Okay, but so was that just your point? Was just sort of like
I just wanted to say
shoehorning into the conversation that your birthday's coming up?
Yes.
Yeah. What are you going to be? 44 or
44? Yeah.
44. Wow. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, anyway, so I was just saying this is our last chance to talk about Christmas stuff.
It is. Yes. I mean,
I don't know if you want to do like a New Year. We could next week we could do like a New Year's episode. If you wanted to. If you have
of course.
New Year's items to discuss.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
do. I definitely do.
Okay.
So
We also got. I just want to throw this out there before you get started. We have one email if you want to look at it.
okay, well, I got another little fun thing that we can do.
Okay.
Do you want to do that first before we get into the stuff? Because this is something that I was just thinking about, like what would be kind of a fun recurring subject.
No, let's do that first because I mean, who knows what kind of rabbit hole that email is going to send us down.
Okay.
So, and I'm excited. If you brought something today, I'm excited to hear what it is.
It's purely it's pure stupidity, really.
I feel like if you were going to sum up this entire show in 2 words, it's
pure stupidity.
Yeah.
Yes.
I told someone the other day to describe. I described the show in 3 words. I said it's 2 friends talking. That's like the 3-word summary. 2-word summary is just pure stupidity.
Yes, that works. That works.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think a lot about. I mean, I don't think a lot about it, but I thought about like how we could work into like how you had mentioned before, like the idea of does it slap or should we yeet it? So I
Yes.
feel like we could make this a recurring segment if we wanted to.
I'm on board already.
So I have a list of 3 things that are totally unrelated to each other.
Okay.
And one of them slaps. You got to pick which one slaps, and the other 2 you got to yeet.
Oh, so it's kind of like the FMK, F Marry Kill, but it's more
Yes.
just like it's like F Kill.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So the thing is like they might all be things that slap, but you got
But you got to pick one.
to pick one.
Okay.
You throw out 2 of them,
Yeah.
and you keep one of them.
Okay.
Okay. So here we go.
All right.
Number 1, pumpkin pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Chuck Taylor Converse.
Okay.
And 3, the N64
Yeah.
controller.
Oh, come on. This is a layup.
Is it really? I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
I think that 2 of them are
What?
not. I know one of them.
Well,
is easy.
All right. I have a unique situation that makes this very easy. I have like really, so I'll just say right off the top, the pumpkin pancakes slap all day long, and Chuck and the controller can both get yeeted out of here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But specifically, like I think that Chuck Taylors are super cool shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Like anytime I see somebody else wearing them, I'm like, man, those are like cool, like timeless shoes.
Yes.
The problem is I have like really big feet. Like I wear like size 13s. So like, I can barely sometimes find shoes that it's gotten better over time. It used to be that like when I was a kid, my mom had to like special order shoes for me.
Okay.
But, but anyway, so I have size 13 feet, right? And I don't know if you've ever seen like at some point, as they get bigger, cause they just get like longer.
Yes.
And
yeah.
they just look like clown shoes. Because I remember I went one time like, oh, I want to get a pair. They had like these really cool. They were like dark gray, and I was like, man, those look awesome.
But you got to go with
And
the
I went to the
classic
store
black
and
and
put
white.
them on. It doesn't matter, man. I think I tried some black. They're really long, but they're not. They don't really get wider as they get longer, so they just look really awkward.
I see.
So so for me personally, I have to eat the Chucks because I cannot enjoy Chucks the way that normally proportioned people can.
Okay.
Yeah. But also I think pumpkin pancakes are delicious.
Yes.
So it's like an easy, if somebody out there's like, oh, I don't like pumpkin flavored things, then yeah. And as far as the N64 controller, I know it's become like this internet trope to make fun of it. But I mean, I remember the first time I had a N64 controller in my hand, which was like, not long after the system came out. And I was like, what the hell is this thing? So, because I grabbed it what I would think would be normally like I had my left hand was on the left handle, whatever you want to call those things, and my right hand was on the right handle, and I had nothing in the middle.
Yeah.
And my friend had gotten Mario 64, and I was like, "Ooh, what's going on?" He's like, "Oh no, you have to hold it. You have to use this other thing in here." And I was just like, "What?" And so
why not just put the analog controller like on the outside?
Well, this is my whole thing with the N64 controller is just like, I understand that maybe when they were designing the controller, they thought that D-pad was going to get a lot more use and that the analog stick was going to be like a sometimes kind of thing. Like I get
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand is why that controller never got redesigned. Like when it became clear to them that that analog stick was going to be your primary directional input, why didn't they do something like, there's the Coury mini pad. I don't know if you have a Coury mini pad. All the cool kids have Coury mini pads. But
yes,
now there's, I don't know, who is it? Like Retro Fighters or somebody?
Right.
Is it Retro Fighters?
They made the Tribute. Is that, you think of the Tribute that they made?
Well, somebody made a controller.
Somebody
made a controller that looks just like a Coury mini pad, except that it's not mini, which is perfect because that is a freakishly small controller. But why did it take a third party to do that? Like Nintendo should have been like, okay, this is like silly because everyone's using this part instead of that part. Let's redesign the controller and it's a way to make more money because everybody that bought an original N64 was probably going to run out and buy that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing I get annoyed about, I think, more than anything. Like, my hatred for the N64 controller is really not even hatred, but just intolerance of that controller. It's more of a thing of Nintendo's stubbornness to never say, like, no, we're not redesigning that controller. It's perfect the way it is, even though it was so clearly not.
Yes. I agree. I hate the N64 controller. And I do have the Retro Fighters pad and really like it. I was just playing Star Fox 64 with it. Like before,
by choice or for your show?
For this thing I'm doing for Instagram. Right.
Oh, the Reels thing.
Yeah, I'm messing around with it. We're gonna see how it goes.
Yeah. That's cool.
So next time we'll just make a list. Those are things that I thought of in 25 seconds of just things.
I like that. I think this is an excellent idea for a segment, like a recurring segment.
Yeah.
And I think we should try to take turns.
Yeah.
So next time I'm going to have the 3 things.
Yeah. And I think it's just important for them not to be related at all. It's just I just think it could be 3 good things. It could be if you want to get really spicy, you could pick 3 things that you definitely get rid of. And you got to keep one of them.
Yes.
Which one is less bad than the others.
Yeah.
And if any of the listeners want to make a little jingle for it,
that would be awesome. I don't know if we know anybody out there who's a musician, but a Does It Slap or Should We Eat It jingle, I guarantee you that would be in the show if it was good.
We could just play it right in between. I could put it right on my soundboard.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be See, I don't even know how to do that kind of stuff.
No, I can do that.
Yeah, do you have one of those Stream Deck?
Yeah, I mean, I use it on our weekly live stream a bit.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard. Mm-hmm. Have you heard me use it?
Because you had the thing with the chicken.
Yeah, there's
chicken.
Right.
That's gonna be real odd. But my favorite one is always been this one from Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, the arcade game.
That's good.
I don't know. I like chicken pretty well.
Yeah.
Is that the full-size Stream Deck that you have, or?
No, well, it's the mid-size. There's that one that's enormous. Oh. I barely have enough room to use this one. This is totally fine.
I just have the mini, the one that only has 6 buttons.
Yeah, and I mean
I only use one because I haven't really been streaming anymore. Mm-hmm. I kind of bought it because I was like, I really want to stream again. I'll buy one of those things and then I'll get excited about it and want to stream. And then I haven't streamed once since I got it. But ever since I learned that you could use it as a record button for OBS, I'm like, well, it's worth it just for that.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that it has a pretty long USB cord, and I could sit over on my chair and play on the big TV and use it. And that's pretty handy, I gotta say. But yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to make that song, just let us know.
Yes.
If you just want to have I'm thinking it would be something, on David Letterman, or was it David Letterman? They'd always have a theme song for something, or was it Conan, where they'd always have a theme song for things? It could be
that seems more like a Conan thing, but I feel like David Letterman did that too, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Sorry, I'm trying to find this guy's email. I was not because he sent. So the thing is, this email got sent to my. The show email,
right?
So it ended up on my phone and everything, and I was like, no, because I don't want to see it,
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to open it and then obstruct the entire message with one hand so that I couldn't see it, and then try to forward it to myself with the other hand. Oh, here we go. I found it. All right. So are you ready? I haven't looked at it yet.
I'm ready.
Is now good. We're done with the first installment of Does It Slap or Should We Eat It?
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this, by the way. This is a great idea.
All right, hit me.
Okay. I already got my answer. Okay, so this is from Jim. Again, we don't do last names. No doxing on Here's My Question for You. He said, I was thinking about a question for you two to chew on, and then it hit me like a bolt of lightning.
Ooh.
What is your favorite song from the Tony Hawk series?
Oh, I mean, I know what mine is.
I wonder if we have the same one.
I think I'm going to say, I think it's called, is it Check It by Zebrahead? Is it Check It's in there?
I don't know.
I mean,
the only Zebrahead song I can think of is that Get Back song.
Get Back.
But that might not be the name of the song either.
I don't even know.
Get back, get back, get back. I don't even know the lyrics besides they just keep get back, get back, get back. I don't know.
I think
that was the one that
the
they played on the radio.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. It doesn't sound. I don't know. I'm not sure if that. Are you sure that is Zebrahead?
Yeah, I think that was like their hit. Because to me, Zebrahead's like a one-hit wonder, and that was their one hit.
Oh,
do you think if I pull that song up on my phone real fast, are we gonna get like a copyright strike?
Not on the on the podcast portion.
Yeah.
We can mute it on there, but does that count for like looking stuff up?
I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna give myself a pass on this one.
Well,
this is important. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, can you see if Check It is the name of the song?
Oh, there's a song called Check
in Tony Hawk.
I don't know. It's just I went to the Zebrahead page on Tidal, and it's like the 4th most popular song. It says Check.
Okay, so that's probably what it is.
All right. I kind of agree with you. I shouldn't have taken my phone out. I feel a little bit dirty doing that, so I put it away. That's just not right.
But that's my choice.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that going like if you're just, it's when you think of like what is the most well-known song, like what song is associated with Tony Hawk? It's probably going to be Goldfinger Superman, right?
Yeah, and that was from the first one, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good song though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or Rage Against the Machine was in the second one, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all I got.
So is that your favorite, or is it just the first one that came to your mind?
No, that's my favorite. That's
Okay.
Out of all the bands that are on the soundtracks for those, I think that's the only one I've seen live. Yeah. I think I saw Goldfinger like at a festival thing. Actually, I know that I saw Goldfinger at a festival type thing.
That seems like a real 90s, like there's going to be like 10 bands playing over the course of the whole day.
It wasn't Warped
kind
Tour,
of
though.
band.
But it was
No.
It was
Have you ever been to a Warped Tour?
Yeah, I went to Warped Tour like several times.
Oh, that's cool.
At LaSalle Park in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right, well, I feel like my choice is going to be super obvious, but then you didn't bring it up, so I don't know. I think it was Tony Hawk 3. Mm-hmm. It's Ace of Spades by Motorhead.
Oh, okay.
Like, easily.
Yeah.
Like that song is awesome.
What's really funny is that I played Tony Hawk 3 the most, and that's the one I feel like I can't think of any of the songs that are on the soundtrack for that one.
I feel like I played Tony Hawk 2 the most. Like I had Tony Hawk on PlayStation, and then I got Tony Hawk 2 on the Dreamcast, and I played the crap out of that game. Like that, because that was the first game that had the manuals, right?
So 2 was, yes.
Yeah, so you could more easily like chain the tricks together and have like 1,000,000-point tricks.
Right. Yeah, it was amazing.
Like I used to go crazy doing that.
Yeah.
Like how long can I keep that going?
Exactly.
I mean,
that's
what everybody did.
That's the most fun part about it. And 3 added what is it? The like the revert, where you like do a spin or you can go like on the ramps. You can go up one side and down the other.
3 had the Foundry, right? Wasn't that like the first level of Tony Hawk 3? The Foundry. That was a cool level.
That's there's nothing quite like skateboarding around like pools of molten
or falling into it while Motorhead's playing in the background.
Nothing quite, yeah, like getting melted.
Yeah, and we got that because that came out on PS2. I think that's how we had it. Because my roommate and I both had PS2s. That's why this is when I was in college.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 3 is the best one.
Yeah,
I liked it. Was it the airport? It might have been my favorite level in 3,
yeah,
where you could like grind around the baggage claim.
yeah. That's right. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Good question though. That was a good question.
Yeah, I mean, I like the
Yeah.
Tony Hawk. Did you play any of the remakes that came out, or the 1
It's
and 2
like,
remaster remake or whatever?
It's like the same story with everything else. If it's a modern game, like of course I bought it and then I played it for like a little while and then I walked away from it. Not because it isn't awesome, but just because I got other stuff, that I'm doing.
Well, there's something to be said about games from that period, especially games like Tony Hawk, where I'm sure you said you played it in your dorm room, so I'm sure that you had kind of like a running competition with everybody, right?
Well, no. First of all, I never lived in a dorm, but
Well, I mean, your roommates, you were saying.
yeah. No, I mean, I don't think we were competitive about it at all. We just we would watch each other play and stuff.
I see.
But we didn't. He and I did not have like a competitive based relationship, I would say.
Yeah.
But I would understand why other people would have that with a game like that. Like that would be very fun.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the few that I feel like I've really done something a little bit like that, even though it wasn't very competitive. It was kind of competitive. In 3 only, and only on the airport level, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's the one I
just
played
with
the most.
just like with your group of friends or what?
Just me and my friend Chris, who is an avid listener to this podcast. He loves it, and we got to have him on. He's coming to visit.
Awesome.
At the end of the month, we should have him on then. He's coming here because
let's do it.
He lives down in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And we're going to, we grew up outside of Buffalo together, and he's coming here because the Buffalo Bills are playing the Cincinnati Bengals. So we're gonna go, and it's a Monday
he's like
night.
Your age. He's your age.
Yeah.
Then
He was like
together.
he's like the best man in my wedding and stuff like that,
Oh,
and I for him as well.
I'm just thinking because I had that sort of the activity question I was going to give to you and your brother, but there was really nothing about it that needed it to be your brother. So I wonder if maybe I can give it to you and Chris.
Yeah, you definitely could. I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's going to be hard. It's going to be a lot of work. So it's going to be an interesting show because you're going to have to give me something to talk about because you're going to have a piece of paper and a pencil out.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But he's coming here. He's coming on on New Year's Day.
Yeah, but he'll be there long enough that.
Yeah, I mean, we can find a couple hours to do this for sure.
I mean, usually my calendar's not very booked on New Year's Day, but
well, it won't be New Year's Day that we'll be doing it because he's going to get here, and also we have like a yearly New Year's Day brunch. I mean, this is my wife does crazy stuff for brunch on New Year's Day. Like before we had kids,
deviled eggs or
well, her big thing is like sausage gravy.
Oh,
and
that's better
biscuits.
than deviled eggs.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. When we lived in New York, we used to have everybody over on New Year's Day, and we would like watch like bad TV or movies all day, and my wife would make brunch for everybody, and we just like sit around, drink Bloody Marys, mimosas, and just eat. And there was even some years where she made brunch, and then everybody just stayed, and then she also made dinner.
Wow. She's a champ.
She takes great joy in doing stuff like that. I mean, it was just the best, and we don't really have as much time for that now because, especially with kids, like everyone brings their kids over and the kids play, but we just, it's nice to have those Bloody Marys and kind of like work on that hangover with everybody together, It's great.
Yeah.
Have bagels, like somebody brings bagels and a big like box thing of coffee. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
That's
and
pretty
it still
cool.
is.
Because I always feel like for me, like in my life, I think like New Year's Day is like probably the most useless holiday of the year. Mm-hmm. Especially after, I feel like you had the big trifecta. You had Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, and then you get this little afterbirth of a holiday of New Year's Day. Because like I don't like I'll watch like bowl games, college football bowl games, but I'm not really enjoying them. But it's just like we don't get together with people. Like even New Year's Eve, like we just probably go out to dinner, just the two of us or whatever. Mm-hmm. But New Year's Day, I feel like I'm just kind of twiddling it's like the end of my winter vacation. I got to go back to work.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's almost like I'm just kind of twiddling my thumbs waiting to go back to work. Not because I want to, mind you, but I'm just saying it's like, well, it's a holiday, I guess, but you know,
well, New Year's
whatever.
Day, we on our
Like,
YouTube
I would much
channel,
rather have something like what you have going on. I'm saying, like, that sounds awesome.
It
I wish
is.
I had
And-
a tradition for
well,
the
one
holiday.
year,
Yeah.
you guys should come here for New Year's.
Yeah,
and then
I'm
we'll,
sure
like,
if I tell my wife, hey, you want to go to Cincinnati? She'll be like pushing me out of the way to go get the computer to look up tickets on whatever website.
But you never know. Like even Troy has come here. He was here like a few years ago. We were doing
I'm just kidding.
like a
I'm sure I
documentary
would.
thing, and
Yeah.
he just ended up being here on New Year's, and
Yeah.
you know we had a bunch of people over, and he's just like, oh, this is like it's like a big thing.
Yeah. How was he with that? Having all those people over?
Yeah, he was fine. I mean,
Yeah.
it was, you know, like there's certain people that he knew. I think that
that
like
helps.
John Linneman from Digital Foundry is from Cincinnati. He lives in Germany, but he's from Cincinnati. And like pre-COVID, he used to come home every year at Christmas for like a month. So like we'd always get together and hang out then. So he was there. So it just like, you know, so he had,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
it wasn't
I thought
just like
it
a
was
lot
be
of
like a house full of strangers, you know.
well, I mean, it basically was, but also like he had some people that he knew,
Yeah.
so it worked out.
That's good.
I mean, that's the thing, I guess. Like, you know, just like not knowing anybody. Like, so for instance, there's been like talk like going out for my birthday, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I want to like
karaoke.
I was thinking about it, but at the same time, like I almost don't want to like copy the idea of our friends who we like went out for karaoke on her birthday.
Oh, I didn't know it was a birthday situation.
But I
Yeah.
but I had so much fun. I almost like just want to do it anyways because like who
Yeah.
cares, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean, everyone had a good time, so why not just do it? But there's some people that I wanted to invite, and it's like, well, they don't really know, you know, like some of the people we'd be going out with, and you know, like I wonder, like, oh, I wonder if they would be fine, just like meeting like these strangers and hanging out and going
And
out.
I feel
for
like usually alcohol smooths all that over. don't you think?
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly how I feel. Like I think that in this situation, it would be totally fine. But I mean, I have not decided what we're going to do yet, and I know that it's getting down to the wire.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know.
I never do anything on my, like, you know, it's, my wife will ask me, oh, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I'm always like, nothing.
Yeah.
But, or maybe we'll go out and just do something, the two of us together. But it's not the kind of thing, I don't go out with like friends or anything and have some kind of like birthday, you know, thing.
Yeah.
Just because
nothing.
it's not my thing. Not like I'm not saying other people shouldn't do that. I just, I'm not the world's most social person, I don't think.
Yeah, but in the right situation, maybe, like I guess, if you're drinking, like maybe that helps.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I think like I don't have a lot of friends really. Like I don't know. You know, I moved away from my hometown, as I know you did too. But like we don't have. Neither one of us has any family around here.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we're of that age where like anybody we have who is our friend has kids. And
Yeah.
So we're
yeah.
kind of
Exactly.
not excluded, but you know you know, when you have kids, it's like, you know, your social circle to a certain extent can revolve around that. And so it's like very hard for us to like spend time with our friends who have kids, you know, 'cause
Right.
it all has to be around that. And so like, you know, we don't have too much of a social circle anyway, but for me, that's not really that much of a problem, I guess. Like I don't crave like social interaction with people
Yeah.
outside of like I talk to my wife, you know, I talk to you once a week, and I have like coworkers at work, and I'm very fulfilled with that.
That's enough. That's all you need. Yeah. I mean, you know,
Like we have every year, there's like a big holiday party in our department, you know, because like our department, it's all the faculty and all the staff, and it's like they throw this big, huge holiday party, and not once have I ever gone. You would enjoy it though, because it was not until this year that I found out that they do like a buttload of karaoke.
see,
Which I was very surprised. Like, oh yeah, it was at the department chair's house, and
okay.
he has a karaoke machine, so they all get drunk and do karaoke at his house. And then once they're drunk enough, they go walk to the bars because there's a karaoke bar down the street, and they go do karaoke there. And I was like, man, it's too bad Coury doesn't work where I work. You have a good time. But I've never even gone to any of that stuff.
To be completely fair
with my coworkers.
with that, like you say, oh, I like karaoke, and I do.
You were glowing when you came back. I talked to you like a day or two after that.
Yeah.
And you.
But the reason for that is in that situation we had a private room, so it's easier when you're not performing in front of a huge bar full of people you don't know. It's better, and not only that, but there's 2 microphones, so people can sing songs together all the time.
Yeah.
Which totally makes it completely fine and more fun, if you ask me.
I mean, I'm going to reveal my own ignorance right now, but shocking as this may be to both you and the folks at home, I've actually never been to a karaoke bar, so I don't know what it's like. But, I would imagine in my head that, like, nobody is probably really paying attention. Like, I feel like people are sitting around drinking, talking to each other, and, like, waiting their turn if they're interested in going up and singing some stuff. But I don't feel like performing to me is like, I don't think everybody's like focused on you. Like,
well, they're not
singing,
focused, and they're all like doing their thing. But when somebody is really, really good, people take notice.
But you might not have that problem. Although
I definitely have that problem. I would have that problem. I think
because you're so good that everybody's gonna.
Oh no, I'm saying I have the problem. Like I
that's
don't.
What I'm saying.
I wouldn't want people to like pay attention too closely.
Oh, for sure.
But I mean, that is basically the thing that I like, is that you can get a private room, and it's just your friends, and you order drinks on your phone, and then they come down through like a hole in the ceiling on a wire. I mean, at the place we were at called Tokyo Kitty, they said, oh, it's a robot delivers your drinks, and this thing comes down, and it's just a tray on a rope, and I'm like, this is not a robot.
No,
who even like thought I'm gonna call this a robot?
Yeah,
it's not even. It's stupid.
Maybe that's just in their future plans. It's like like Tesla's cars being self-driving. It's like, well, it's an aspiration. Like you can't. We don't have the robot now, but we think we're going to have it in the future, so we're going to advertise it now.
Yeah. I mean, I would be way more impressed if the robot from Rocky 3, Paulie's robot.
That's what I was thinking.
Is Rocky 4. Is it Rocky 4 that has he gives Paulie that robot?
Rocky 4 was in Russia.
Well, that's the fight, but he gives...
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't he give Paulie a robot for his birthday? It's so stupid when you say it out loud.
I feel like it's in Rocky 3, but I wouldn't swear to it.
Yeah, well...
Because I feel like I haven't seen Rocky 4 in a long time. I think I watched Rocky 3 not that long ago, and I felt like I saw the thing with the robot, but I could just be making stuff.
Yeah, Paulie's robot. If you get a chance, you should just revisit that, and it says Happy Birthday, Paulie.
Rocky 3 was when Mickey died, though, right?
I mean, I don't...
Because that's the first Rocky I saw, I think, was Rocky 3, and Mickey dies, and I saw it when I was like 5, and so it was like very traumatic,
I mean, is that the one where he dies? Probably. I don't know. I get the two of them. I've seen them. I've seen both of them so infrequently that I can't tell you the difference between Paulie and Mickey.
What? That's like completely different. Like Mickey was like Rock. He's a wrecking machine, Rock. Like the old guy with the hearing aid. Okay. Paulie is the brother-in-law.
Okay. Now you say. Okay. I mean, not
remember, because his wife is like Francis Ford Coppola's sister or whatever, and it's her husband.
I mean, I feel like I got to revisit them now. It's been a long time, but I've seen the robot scene several times.
Talia Shire, that's her name. Talia Shire.
Right.
Is the actress. That's the mother of that Jason Schwartzman guy.
Really?
Jason Schwartzman, is that right? The guy from Rushmore?
Yeah, Rushmore.
Talia Shire is his mom, yeah.
Jeez. I thought he was.
That's it. That Coppola family, because then you got Nicolas Cage as part of that family too.
Yeah.
And Sofia Coppola, right? Who was no good in Godfather 3, but she's a good director and writer. So,
Lost in Translation, right?
Lost in Translation, right?
Jeez, it's all.
I just saw something about her. She's married to some heck of famous musician, but I can't remember who.
Is it the guy from Phoenix?
Yes, exactly.
I don't know what his name is, but it's the guy. It's the guy from the band who sings "Pumped Up Kicks."
Yeah. No, it's like when you said that, I thought about Pat Finnerty, the guy from Phoenix, and that's what we'll call him, the guy from Phoenix.
Exactly.
Like the guitarist from Three Doors Down. Hey, I haven't gotten it yet, but since we're talking about mugs.
Oh, did you get one of the...
Heck yeah, buddy.
Did they?
Because I was so upset because he sold them for a while, and then I think Dunkin' Donuts, or I guess now it's just called Dunkin', put the kibosh on that, and I was just like, what? I want one of those things. And so then he, on Instagram or something, he's like, oh, we got them again. So I couldn't get my order in fast enough.
Are they gone? You think they're probably gone now?
I have no idea. I haven't gotten mine yet. So
you think if we asked him to be on this show, he'd be on here?
Absolutely not.
Really?
But I'd be willing. You got to shoot your shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could. I bet he would. I bet he would. You know what I'm going to do?
What
is so I do some side work for with John Lemon on Digital Foundry Retro. And we're working on a Road Rash episode.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if I could email him and ask him if he would talk about the soundtracks for Road Rash. Because I was looking at the Road Rash, the 3DO game has an amazing soundtrack, right?
Absolutely.
And then I was like, I'm going to put in Road Rash 3D. And immediately it's Kid Rock.
Oh, no.
And a whole bunch of other trash. And I'm like, I wonder if I could ask him. And he might do it because he might
I could see him doing.
He could not care at all about probably doesn't care about the games at all, but he could talk about these soundtracks and probably could just talk about the people who are on them and stuff.
Yeah.
He could probably talk about that. And I can use that as a way to open up communications with him. And then I could say, hey, do you want to be on this on here?
Yeah. That'd be cool. It'd be worth trying. I think my only thing with that, no, if you can do it, please do it. But I think, I've told you before, I feel like my dream with this show is for us to have noteworthy people as guests, but not talk about
the thing that
not talk with them about the thing they're noteworthy for. I want you on here, but you're just going to be another dude sitting at the bar that we're talking to.
Yes. Yeah. That is the whole idea, the whole point. And that's why there's basically no limit on who we could have on here too.
Yeah.
Because
we are somebody that collaborates a lot, so
we're not going to talk to you about the thing that they are a professional.
Well, to me that's almost just lazy.
Yeah.
It's so easy to have somebody on there. Let's get Sofia Coppola on here and be like, "Oh, tell us all about Lost in Translation. What was it like working with Bill Murray?" That's lazy.
Yeah. Let's say. So, what do you think about who are their favorite YouTubers? Who's Sofia Coppola's favorite YouTubers? You think?
Yeah,
maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Whatever. But I think that I will try to see if that's going to happen. I'll try to make that happen.
You try.
Anyways, do you have a question? I
do.
I'm ready.
And I don't know if this is an easy question or I don't know if this is going to have a whole conversation, but I was thinking about this the other day because, again, this is going to serve as the official Christmas episode. And maybe this is a stupid question, but I just think it's a fun question. What, in your memory, in your mind, in your opinion, is the greatest Christmas gift you've ever received?
My Sega Genesis. Probably is 1989 getting that Genesis, that is a very, very vivid memory of mine. And there's certain Christmas presents that weren't even with me, maybe something my brother got that I remember. I remember the time when we came down Christmas morning, and I have no idea how my mom pulled this off. But there was a bunch of presents and also a 10-speed bike in a living room. And listen, my parents were like divorced when I was not even a year old. So my mom was doing all this stuff on her own. She was like working 2 jobs, just like tired all the time and just working so hard for all this stuff. But she would always like make Christmas like crazy amazing. And I have no idea. I just remember like as we were getting older, like there was one time where she, hauled all these presents out of wherever they were being hidden. And she like threw her back out, I guess, when she was doing it, like going up, because bringing up from the basement. And like she couldn't like get off the couch like all day the next day. She like had to like crawl up the stairs. I mean, it just, but the Sega Genesis was like the most memorable Christmas gift that I ever got. But
did you know you were going to get it, or did you ask for it?
Oh,
like,
I
kinda?
asked for it. Like I knew that I probably was going to get it, because that was the only thing that I asked for.
Yeah.
And like,
did you get any like additional games with it aside from
I got
Beast
Ghouls and Ghosts with it.
Oh, nice.
But the cool thing about having a birthday that's the day after Christmas is that I would always ask for money, or I could like sometimes combine stuff, like combine gifts. And that 1989 like Christmas and birthday combo was very, very memorable. Like the day after, we would always go out and spend our Christmas money, or Christmas and birthday money in my case. And we went to the mall in Warren, Pennsylvania. And I just remember I got Thunder Force 2 and Rambo 3 with my birthday money. And then we went to see National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh man.
Like that is like that
crazy.
is my like Christmas 1989 is the Christmas that I remember the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what about you? What is?
Well, it's interesting that it's that year for you, because I feel like it's probably that year for me too.
Well, it's a good year.
It wasn't a Genesis, but it was 1989.
Yeah.
And like I've told that story on my show, because for me, I would say, I mean, there's 2 that I could think of. One of them seems kind of stupid. Again, I've talked about this all on my show, but Christmas of '88, I got this calculator watch. That's gonna sound like
was it the Casio calculator watch?
Yeah, it was a data bank calculator watch, not because there's the simple calculator watch that just had the rubber buttons and it was literally just a calculator watch. But I got the data bank calculator watch that had like that membrane keyboard, and you could put phone numbers and stuff in it. And I just thought that was like the coolest thing, And
could it hold 20 really, phone numbers?
I think it was more. It was like 50 or 60.
It's funny. It's funny because you mentioned that, because I asked you recently if you had seen Cameron Crowe's movie Singles, and there's at one point where like one of the friends of one of the main characters says, like, I got this new watch. Look at this new watch, and I can store 20 phone numbers in here. And tonight I'm going to go out and I'm going to get 20 phone numbers.
Well, I was only like 11 years old, so I wasn't getting girls' phone numbers as much to put in there. But I don't know. I just thought it was like the coolest thing, just having this watch. First of all, I just thought it was a cool looking watch, because when you're that age, like I only would ever have like that super basic Casio digital watch that was like $10.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think this watch was like $50. Like it wasn't cheap. Do
you still have it somewhere?
So no, because I had it. That was like 88. So by the time that was like 6th grade, and then sometime when I was in high school, I had taken it off because it was like gym class. So I had taken it off to put it in my locker, and I dropped it, and it fell like just the right way, I guess, that the screen broke.
Oh.
And so I even took it to a watch place to try to get it fixed, and they were like, yeah, we can't fix it, which I don't know if that's really true, because now you can go on like eBay and you can buy parts, but they're like they're OEM parts in little like Casio Ziploc bags, so you kind of can't help but think
they just didn't want to put the effort in.
Well, but it was probably not the kind of place, like it was like a jeweler. It wasn't the kind of place that fixed digital watches, but I was able to buy, because they still sold that watch for quite some time. And so I was able to buy a replacement much later, which I still have, although that screen is acting up a little bit too. So I don't actually wear it, but it's just cool because like that's the kind of thing I can pick it up and like the nostalgia just comes like rushing back of that watch, even though like I said it was kind of probably a silly, because by this time like I had a Nintendo, so wouldn't you think I would have asked for like 1 or 2 Nintendo games or something? But I was like, nah, man, I need this calculator watch.
But that's something that's wearable tech, man.
That's what I'm saying.
You can use that to improve your popularity.
Yeah, well, I don't think anything was going to improve my popularity, but I thought at the time that was like a cool watch,
Yeah.
So that was 88, but then 89 I got my Game Boy.
Oh,
and
okay.
That's probably the main thing I would say, because that was kind of similar, to you, like, you got the Genesis like, a few months after it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the Game Boy came out a few months before the Genesis did, but it was still, I felt like an early adopter, getting my Game Boy on Christmas morning. And my dad did a pretty good job. He did some psyops on me and had definitely convinced me that I was not getting a Game Boy.
Yeah.
That's what he's like, what do you want for Christmas? I was like, I want a Game Boy, and which is funny because I didn't think the Game Boy was like a real thing, because like the first I learned of the Game Boy was like at school, it was some kid on the playground. It's like, yeah, Nintendo's making like this, it's got a handheld game, but it's going to have like cartridges you can put in it. And I was like, that doesn't sound, because there's so much BS, in
for sure.
elementary school, and so when they said that, I was like, I don't believe you. But then I think at some point later, I saw the kiosk at Toys R Us, and I was like, whoa, it really is real, and it looks awesome. And so I'd asked my dad for it, and he was like, oh, well, we'll see. I was like, okay, well, whatever. And then at some point, I remember we were in the car, and I think we had stopped at like a liquor store so you could run in and get a pack of cigarettes like you always did. And I remember him getting in the car and having this conversation with me, and he's like, look, we just bought you that Nintendo, for Christmas like 2 years ago. So, you're not getting the Game Boy. We just can't, we're not going to spend that money and get you like another video game system.
Yeah,
so like,
yeah.
You better think of something else. And like, I just never told him anything else. Like I wasn't like bratty about it, like, like pouting and like, no, but I was just like, well, I can't really think of anything else I want, but I'll let you know or whatever if I think of something. Which again is weird because I had a Nintendo. Why didn't I just say, okay, well, fine, get me like, Super Mario Brothers 2 or something? But I didn't.
But you wanted that Game Boy.
And I really wanted that Game Boy. And so that's and I ended up getting one on Christmas morning. I didn't get any additional games from them. I just got the Game Boy. But, of course, it had Tetris in the box, which I was very excited to play. So like I was very, very happy with that. And I just remember, we had Christmas morning at our house. And at this time, I wasn't living with him anymore. So like I was like there visiting for a week or two. And so we opened our presents, and I got my Game Boy, which I was very, very happy about. And then after that, we had to all get ready and get in the car and drive over to my aunt's house, which is probably about a 2-hour drive, a pretty long drive. But I was sitting in the back seat playing, Tetris until I got car sick.
Yeah.
And I remember the Game Boy came with those earbuds, which I'd never had earbuds before, because you always wore just like regular headphones.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd ever seen earbuds before. And it came with these earbuds, but, I remember putting those on, and they like, my ears were hurting because they were just hard plastic.
Yeah.
I don't remember if they came with little foam things to put on top of them or not, but
I didn't know they came with earbuds. That's pretty cool. I had no idea. I didn't have a Game Boy.
Well, I think they did that because, the Game Boy has better sound than the NES does, right? It's stereo sound. It sounds really, really good. But of course, there's only a monaural speaker in the Game Boy. So I think for them, it's like, well, we're going to give you this cheap set of earbuds because we want to make sure that you can hear that cool stereo sound.
Yeah. So that that it's better. And wasn't the Game Boy like $90 when it was released?
Yeah, I think it was $89. It wasn't expensive.
That's crazy. That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
It makes it suddenly makes so much sense of why that it sold so well.
Yeah, and I mean, even at the beginning, games were like $19.99. I think later, as the ROM sizes got bigger, the prices of the games went up. But like originally, I think all the games that came out for like the first probably like 6 months or a year were like $19.99.
That's crazy. So, that's crazy. I had no idea because I didn't have a portable game system until I got an Atari Lynx.
Yeah, well, those are awesome too. I mean, it's no substitute for a Game Boy, but I mean, the Lynx was a cool system.
I remember being so blown away when I got that Lynx. I'm like, how can I see this screen in the dark? How does this even work? Like, I started thinking about how is it just because the screen is in color makes it so that it like you can see it in the dark?
Yeah.
I didn't understand. Like what the idea of not being able to see a TV screen in the dark, because you'd always looked at a CRT, you could always see it in the dark. It like lights up the whole room, and I did not understand how you could not see it.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I was like, oh, is it because it's in color?
Yeah. But so anyway, I just I remember being in the car playing the Game Boy, and then when I got home, because I was just visiting, my dad, and so then I had to go back to my mom's house, and they hadn't gotten me Christmas presents yet. I don't know, maybe I was a smart kid. Maybe I told them like, hey, don't get me anything for Christmas yet. I want to see how this Game Boy thing turns out, because I just remember getting back, and I don't remember who I got it from, if it was my mom or my grandma, but I remember I got Super Mario Land. Because that's the game I really wanted, the additional game. And then I got Solar Striker, which at the time I really didn't like, because I think it was just too hard for me because I just sucked at games. It's like a shooter.
Yeah.
Now I play it and I'm like, this is actually not a bad game, especially for such an early Game Boy game. It's too bad that I didn't give it more of a chance, or just because I sucked at it. But even today, because if you play the first Super Mario Land, I mean, it's pretty rudimentary, I'll say, compared to even just the other Mario and Wario games on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
But, I think Super Mario Land was like programmed by like Gunpei Yokoi's team, because Nintendo didn't think that the Game Boy was going to really turn into anything. So they weren't going to waste like, Shigeru Miyamoto and his guys making games for this,
And that's probably why it's so weird, right?
Right. It really has its own thing going on.
It's like Mario Acid Trip kind of, with like pyramids and pharaohs and stuff.
It kind of is. But I'm sure the game, if somebody that's never played it now, they'd be like, wow, this is like not very good. But for me, like, I really enjoy playing through that game because it takes me back to the Christmas of '89.
Like an acid trip.
Yes.
That just like, when I said that, do you ever hear that urban legend? I don't mean to like divert the conversation. You ever hear the urban legend about the where like somebody was like smuggling acid and they had it like in the back of their shirt and it rained?
No.
And like I don't like the version that we heard, like when I was like a teenager, is that like all the like the sheet of acid like absorbed into his skin on his back because it rained, and like he like had to be put into a mental institution because like he didn't want anybody to touch him because he thought he thought he was a glass of water.
I don't know. Do you think that could be? I'm not saying that specific story is true, but I mean, they have like transdermal patches and stuff. So maybe if you got enough acid on your skin, maybe it would soak through. I don't know.
Maybe, but I just remember people saying like, yeah, and he's like, he didn't want anybody to touch him because he thought he was going to spill. He's like, don't touch me, I'll spill.
But that sounds pretty believable, that part. I mean, people on acid, I think, do like weird things. That's like,
but apparently it lasted forever.
Oh, well, I don't know. Well, I mean, you get, bad trips or whatever. That's like one of the, like, I've not really ever done drugs in my life aside from, a little bit of grass or whatever. But
yeah,
like acid is probably, like acid and like heroin are probably like the two things I'm the most afraid of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I would never, ever, ever drop acid because like I can just based on the way I am or whatever, I guarantee you I'd have a bad trip. Like no question.
I mean, I've never done it either. But I mean, it's like it's funny that like you know that it would go badly.
Dude, I even sometimes if I have like one too many beers, like that'll get me into like a bad headspace.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like like for me the best way to be is just sober. Or just like one or two beers or, cocktail, take the edge off, and then stop.
Yeah.
So
I mean, my problem now is like I just stop when I get to a certain point because I get hungover before I even go to bed. So.
Oh yeah, well that's just us being old.
Yeah.
And plus, you can't drink beer; or you just start farting up a storm. I hear.
That's true. That's true. Although
it was so funny when when you were telling that story or whatever, when you said that, I just couldn't stop laughing because you said, "Oh yeah, I'm allergic to hops. It makes me fart." Because all I wanted to say is like, "Oh man, I think I'm allergic to broccoli and cheese." Then, but it's just even the thought of that was making me laugh, and I was like, I can't say it.
I'm excited to hear when your wife gets around to listen to that episode, like how she like what she she thinks about it.
Oh no, she listened to it already.
Oh really?
Because she thought it was funny.
Oh.
She's like, "Oh, poor Coury can't drink beer."
Although, I went out the other night and I had a couple of ciders and I was like, oh, this is like a good little substitution.
Well, there's no hops in.
Right,
cider.
right, but it's really, it doesn't. It looks almost beer-esque.
Yeah, I like cider a lot. My only thing with cider is like there's just a wide range.
Yeah.
As far as like how much sugar.
Right.
Is in.
Yeah.
Because you get the wrong cider and it's real sweet and it's just you're gonna have a bad hangover or
Yeah.
That's too much sugar to have with alcohol. But like we have some ciders that are made here that are very, very dry. And which is funny because they still have enough sweetness that they're not like, ooh, this is just super dry. But, to me at least, it's very enjoyable and refreshing without seeming like sugary or almost like syrupy.
Yeah, I could see that. The ones that I had the other night were pretty good. It was the after party for I did that improv class, and we.
Oh, was that your last class?
Well, as our showcase. To, like,
Oh, really?
You had to like go and perform in front of it was probably about 30 people that can go there to the like the Cincinnati or the Clifton Comedy Theater, I think it is CCT in Clifton, the neighborhood Clifton in Cincinnati, and it was really fun. I was pretty nervous about it.
I definitely would have been.
And I did okay on the first thing, and I feel like I really blew it. And it was like I blew it with the second one, where we had to do a game where we had to perform a scene, but each sentence, each exchange had to start with a letter, like the following letter of the alphabet. So we started with M. Or we started with the letter N. So I had to start a sentence that started with an N, like something like I was like, no way, blah, 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 blah. And the next person has to say something, had to like respond with a sentence that starts with M. And we had to go all the way through the alphabet.
Oh, so were you going backwards then? Because M is before N, not after.
Sorry, O.
Because I was thinking when you said that, I was like,
but
hey,
they do have versions where you go backwards. And you gotta like
Nancy's a real see ya next Tuesday, and then the other person would be like, "Oh, you think so?"
Yeah. So, and they gave us like a subject, right?
Okay.
And we had to go like N, and then the next I'd start with N, and I say something about national parks, and like that was the subject was national parks. We start with national parks, something about national parks. And then the next person had to go respond with a sentence that begins with O. Then it goes back to me and it's P. All the way through the alphabet until we get back to N. And wow. I feel like I really blew it. Like I just.
How would you do like X?
Can
it be the sound X, or does it have to literally start with the letter X?
It had to start with a letter X. I don't remember what it was.
Is there any other word in the English language besides
Q was tough.
Like xylophone?
Yeah, it was something about xylophone. I think that's what somebody said. Even Q was. We were talking about national parks, and I don't know, but they started talking about. I don't know. It's like isn't it like a Mayan god like the Quetzalcoatl? It's like like the bird.
I don't know if that's Mayan, but yes,
or something. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And I just really lost it. Like I could not come back with anything, and it was tough, and I really feel like I blew it. And I felt fine about it afterwards, but then I woke up the next morning. I was like, man, I blew it. I blew that game. But but that's the whole point. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
is to get in front of people and like basically like fail.
Yeah,
so that you can think about what you did.
It seems like just doing stuff like that. I feel like the ability to do something like that is almost like a mental muscle that you have to like build up, don't you think?
Right. Like
nobody's good at that just like right out of the gate, right? But you keep doing it.
Well, there's some people that are just like are naturals at it for sure. And it was vastly different. I was fine because with my class there was 10 people in my class, and as time progressed, as you know, you'd go to more classes, you get more and more used to these people, and by the end you're just having a really good time. And then when you got to do that in front of people, you know, it's just so much more it's so much different than I expected. And I might do like the next level of the class, but I'm not going to do it right away.
Yeah.
I'm gonna research and find like a different class to do. I was thinking about, you know, I don't like cooking very much, but I was thinking of if I could find,
Because you don't like food, as we talked about previously.
right, but maybe I would appreciate more stuff if I could learn how to cook good or better than I do. And
I will say, like, I'm someone that I do like cooking, and so I took a cooking class, and A, really enjoyed it, and B, it made me a much better like home cook.
okay, see,
So,
that's
like,
what I want to do. Is
So I would say that's never a bad idea for someone to take a cooking class.
yeah. So I think,
And this was like a fundamental. It wasn't like, oh, today we're going to make, you know, it wasn't teaching you recipes. It was teaching you the fundamentals of you know, food preparation.
Yeah.
Teaching you the correct techniques for things.
and that's really interesting to me. That's the kind of thing that I would like to, that I would like to do. It's my joke was, I wonder if I could find a cooking class called Cooking for People Who Hate Cooking, and like basically teach you to enjoy cooking.
That would be a good idea, because there's a lot of people I feel like I know who just legitimately do not enjoy cooking, and maybe, you know, maybe you could change a few hearts and minds if you directed the class that way, you know.
Yeah. So I think in the new year I'm going to start looking for a cooking class to take and see how that goes. I mean, as I said way earlier, my wife is a great cook, and she's very good at just pulling stuff out and making something based on what we have. And I would like it if I could do something similar to return the favor for all the times that she's done that.
Well, that's nice of you.
But if I had to take a class to do that, so I mean, I'm just thinking about a lot of this, about taking classes like this as a personal enrichment. Like, how can I enrich my life and like learn a little bit more about stuff to make myself a more interesting and well-rounded person, human being.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you weren't interesting and well-rounded, I wouldn't be doing a show with you. But what you're saying is that's never a bad thing for anybody to do. You know, like learning and whatnot and growth should be a lifelong process.
Yeah.
So
I think that I should ask some of the people who were in the improv class to be on this podcast sometime.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's just
what I liked
about it.
Because I think you feel embarrassed because, in your opinion, you blew it, and so now you just want to flex on them.
No,
like,
no.
Who's the YouTube star here? Oh, raise your hand if you have over 200,000. Oh, not so fast, Phyllis.
No, I just think that it would be really fun, because one of the things I liked about doing this class is it was one night a week. Yeah. And you go for 3 hours, or it's like 2.5, 3 hours, which is a nice little chunk of time.
Was there food?
No.
Oh, that's disappointing.
I mean, it was after dinner. That's when they would have it.
Right, but you killed someone to bring a box
after.
of coffee and some donuts or something.
Right. Well, maybe as you get into higher levels, it's not worth spending the money. But what I liked about this is that I was essentially just hanging out with people for a few hours a week that are not connected to like anything else in my life. And it was just kind of nice just meeting new people that are for all intents and purposes complete strangers to me.
Yeah.
And then being forced into, you know, doing this stuff that you don't normally do in front of people. I guess. You could be whoever you wanted to be.
Right, we talked about that. I told him you should give him a fake name, and you were not going for it.
No, I had to sign up with my name. I mean, I want to be real with him.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch The Real World? Growing up.
Yeah, I think I watched. Gosh, I I don't remember what year that show started, because I remember I didn't see the first season because I didn't get cable. Like, I had cable when I lived with my dad, and then I moved back with my mom, and we didn't have cable for several years. And I think by the time we got cable, maybe a couple of seasons of The Real World had already gone by. Like, I remember watching a season that took place in Seattle.
Okay.
And that's the one where there was that girl that had Lyme disease, and that guy slapped her, and that was like the whole big fracas with that one.
That's right. Yeah. And when she was driving away, when she had left the house, right? He opened the door.
Oh, yeah, because he ran out and tapped on her car, right?
Yeah.
And she rolled out her window, and he reached in the car and smacked her. Like, that's not... I mean, you can laugh, but that's really not cool. But and then there was like a season that took place in Miami that I think might have been right after that. And I think there was a season after that that took place in like Boston. And I think that was when I watched, Real World for that little window of time.
Yeah.
And then I never got into Road Rules because I just thought, well, this is just a cheap imitation of the Real World. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's just like, or I think I might have watched, there was the season in San Francisco because that had Puck.
Yeah, Puck? I remember Puck. Yeah,
but I don't remember if I saw it when it was on or if they were just showing reruns of it.
Because Puck was on the Road Rules for a minute too, and they had like the Road Rules challenge or something where they would have people.
Wonder what that guy's doing now.
I thought
Puck?
about him.
Like, where's Puck right now?
Yeah, that is. Maybe we should see if he'd want to be on those podcasts.
No, I do not want that.
I know. I don't know.
It's always funny to think about that. Like, you forget we're all just existing in the same world. So it's like, right now, me and you are having this conversation. Tom Hanks is probably sitting on the pot with today's issue of the Hollywood Reporter or something, or Variety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not going anywhere with this one, but so you use Apple Music, if I remember correctly.
That is
That's
correct.
like your streaming service. So I don't know how. I've never used Apple Music, so I don't know how that one works. But I use Tidal for not really any reason in particular. You have to pick one. And normally, so I don't know what your experience is with these streaming services, but I feel like I put on an album, and when the album is over, whatever it plays is something I don't want to hear
Every time.
Like yes. Because like I get frustrated. It's like, if I listen, let's just say I put on Thriller.
Yeah.
Right? When Thriller's over, just start Bad. What are you doing? Because it goes off someplace else. And it's like, obviously I'm in the mood to listen to Michael Jackson. Let's just keep that going. I mean, I'm using Michael Jackson as an example, but just like whatever, And 9 times out of 10, it's like, I don't even know who that is. And then I start, thinking about like, why are you doing that? Is that like some lesser artist that you can pay less royalties to? And so you figure if I'm still paying attention, I'll change it. Like, who knows what's going on? But it's almost never the case, and maybe literally never the case, that it plays something where I'm like, oh, cool, I'm going to listen to that. It's like, oh, nope, let me go change that. And so it's interesting that this happened, that this was like the night before last, or like 3 nights ago. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But I was laying in bed. I think my wife had already fallen asleep, and I was kind of getting ready to fall asleep. But I had my iPad, and I always have a set of earbuds like next to the bed, in like this little thing hanging off the bed for putting stuff in.
Yeah.
Just so that if I want to watch something or whatever, and she's asleep, I can put the earbuds in and listen. And I don't know if I saw something that reminded me of something or whatever, but it ended up that I put the earbuds in and I opened the Tidal app, and I started playing a live album by New Order. I don't know if you're a New Order guy or not, but so I started, and it was like a specific song I wanted to listen to that happened to be like towards the end of the album. And so I put the song on and was listening to it, and then I fell asleep. Not like, I wasn't like, ooh, I'm going to fall asleep to some live New Order. It just sort of happened.
Yeah.
And I woke up later, and it was still playing like live music. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And it was like good. It was like, maybe it was like, because I don't know how you are. I wake up like a lot at night, like for a minute or two. Like I'll wake up and like, and I'll go back to sleep,
Oh, so it's like you're waking up enough to realize that you're waking up for a second.
Absolutely, because I'll even look over and like, oh, what time is it? Can I just get up yet? Nope. All right, go back to sleep. And but the earbuds were still in my ears, and normally if I fell asleep with my earbuds still in, I would take them off and throw them away and put my earplugs in or something and go to sleep. But like I woke up and it was like some other live music, but it was like good. And I was like, oh well, I'm just gonna keep that going. And sometimes I might even be awake long enough that the song would end and another song would start, and it would be another. Like it never stopped playing. I don't understand how the algorithms work, but like it never stopped playing live music. It was pulling tracks from live albums of these different bands.
That's
like
cool.
It played some REM live. That was cool. Like the only thing that it played where I was like, nope, is every once in a while, like I would wake up and it would be like a Guns N' Roses. And I've got the earbuds have the little inline remote. So I hit that double click. Like I get people like Guns N' Roses. I'm not saying they're not good. I just have my own reasons. Like I cannot stand Guns N' Roses. So like
just even their recorded stuff. Like you just don't like
any of it.
Like
I don't ever
even
want to hear
November
a Guns N'
Rain, you
Roses
don't
song.
like.
It's a great song. I don't ever want to hear. I just do not. I got a thing. It's like, the Big Lebowski, and he's like, I effing hate the Eagles, man.
Yeah.
That's me, but Guns N' Roses.
Interesting.
Instead.
Okay.
Like I don't.
Yeah. I can understand that.
So I'd reach up and be like, no. I'd click that off and I'd double click it so it would just go to the next song, but it would be another live song. So it was almost like listening to one big gigantic concert where bands were just like taking turns. And so I was just really impressed. And then I was like, was that like a fluke? And then I did it again the next day and it kept playing all this live music. I was like, man, I think I cracked the code.
That's a good idea. I'm gonna try that.
Like, I don't know if there's something about the fact that all those sounds have the crowd noise in the background, if that does something to the algorithm where it's like, oh, these tracks sound similar.
The fact that it probably says live in parentheses in the song title.
But then I woke up, it was like 6:15 or something in the morning, which is usually getting around to when I'm going to wake up anyway. And I remember I woke up and right at the beginning of the song, and I heard like a woman's voice say like one word. And I was like, oh, like, 'cause somehow all night I'd never heard a song with a female vocalist. Mm-hmm. I was like, it was kind of weird, but whatever, And I woke up and I just, maybe that's what woke me up, is just hearing this woman just say some words. Like, oh, what was that?
Yeah.
And then I kept kind of listening, and then the guitar started playing, and I'm like, oh, I know that riff. I know what this is. And it was a Cranberries song.
Oh, okay.
And which I'd never heard. I've never heard the Cranberries play live before.
Yo, me either. Really. I mean,
yeah. Which it was kind of cool, just because, like, so it was. The song was "Dreams," which was like one of their big hits.
Yeah,
It was off their first album, and I don't know why. I'm in like a half asleep state. I'm kind of listening to this, and it just kind of stuck out to me. And maybe part of it is because, like, she's one of those people that when she passed away, it was just like, whoa, like.
Yeah, didn't she drown?
You don't expect, like, yeah, she drowned in a bathtub. She got drunk and drowned in a bathtub, which is that's like, what a wasteful way to,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that wasteful
true.
To her, but I'm just saying it's like, because that could happen to anybody. You have one night where you drink too much, and the next thing, you could fall and hit your head and die too. It's just like, it's accidental death, but it's like, she's like our age, or she's like a year.
Yeah, she's like maybe.
I think she was 46.
When she died, yes, but she,
she's not continuing to age because now she's no longer alive.
Right.
I'm saying when she died, she's about the same age I am now. But
yeah,
but I'm saying it was just kind of, and I was never a big Cranberries fan, but it was just sort of shocking. Like, oh my God, like she's not old enough to be, because like I remember like when Christine McVie died a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Like she's she was like 80 or 79.
The only people I even said anything to about it were my mom, because she's the one I would never have listened to Fleetwood Mac if it wasn't for her. Mm-hmm. And then I told you. Just because I was kind of shocked by it, because like for me, like Lindsey Buckingham and Christine McVie are my two favorite people in that band.
Yeah,
like just personally.
Mm-hmm.
And so when she died, I was just like, well, that's it. Like you're not, even just for playing their live music, they replaced Lindsey Buckingham. I'm not saying I like it, but they made it work. But you can't replace Christine McVie. But then you pointed out, she's like, well, she was 79. She lived a full life. It's just these people are old, and so it's like that's just what happens, right? But like, for Dolores O'Riordan to die the way she did was just like, God, that's not right. But it was funny listening to the song because I'd never heard them live before, and I don't know why it just stuck out to me, just sort of like how sweet she was. Because if you're watching like or listening to like Metallica, right? and they're playing a song and they don't think the crowd's loud enough or something. It's like, oh, I can't effing hear you out there, you know?
Yeah.
Don't you even effing know this one?
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, she's singing Dreams, and I guess she felt the same way, and she just very politely and sweetly between lines just said, oh, does anyone know the words, you know? and then she started like helping them. Like before the next line came up, she would say a couple words to kind of get them started, you know? I just thought that's the difference right there. Like you have this like nice, polite lady who, you know, is not going to scream at you and make you feel like crap because you're not singing enough, you know?
Cranberries' first two albums are really, really, really good if you haven't like listened to them fully.
I have not listened to. I'm not familiar with anything beyond their like, you know, radio releases.
I see. Definitely, like the second one. That's like, is it like Ode to My Family? It's a really, really good album. The whole thing is really good. I highly recommend it. That's cool though. I'm gonna try that with Apple Music. Try to see if I can go down a live music hole. I'm surprised.
It was just like I said. It was just cool because at no point, aside from you know the Guns N' Roses, was I ever like, oh, that one sucked. Like change it, you know. And it was like, I mean, there was like The Cure would come up, you know, live, like I mean, just all kinds of stuff. But it was all like, oh, this is cool. You know?
Yeah, I just did listen to it, especially since, you know, and I'm not sure what song you heard, like by REM, but when they would play live, you know, they would like it was just like a lot heavier. You know, if you're like looking for a really interesting take on one of their songs when they're playing live, listen to something from like on their Monster tour when they played Drive, which is the first song on Automatic for the People, which is just kind of, it's just a very simple song, but the live version has this great, like it really makes uses of like some heavy drums. I can probably send it to you like after we're done with this.
Well, I mean, I'll see if there's, I don't know if they have like live albums, how many of they might have on Tidal. I can look, but yeah, if you want to send me something, that would be cool.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. All right, so that's an hour and a half. You think we should?
Yeah, I think.
Unless you had something else, burning topic you wanted to bring up. I mean, I'm not in a hurry to leave, but
not this week.
Try to keep these somewhat reasonable. All right, you've been listening to episode 10. I'm told.
Yeah, you think maybe.
Here's my question for you. I don't. I couldn't decide if it was 9 or 10, but I think you're right.
It's definitely 10.
Yeah, good.
Definitely
good.
10.
Send us a question if you like. Here's my podcast at gmail.com. Sending it to my email address is okay, but not ideal. I'm just only because, like I said, I'm afraid I don't want to see the question.
Yeah.
So we're trying to not have to interact with the email until we open it on the show.
Exactly.
So trying to just minimize that. But anybody that takes the time to email us, I'm not going to complain about.
Yeah. I mean, if you are going to email us...
We're taking risks with a hot potato when you do that, you know?
If you email us personally, have a big, long thing in the beginning saying, I'm emailing you at your personal email address in regards to your podcast, and I would like you to, like, you know, we just can't see it in the title bar. We don't want to see any of the body of the text.
Yeah, we just don't want... It's like trying to not have spoilers.
Yeah. The whole point is that we don't know.
Right.
Until it comes down. Until it's time for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that going to do it?
Yeah, I'm not even going to bother with all the
social media.
People know where to find us, and who cares?
Well, all right.
If you're already listening to the show, you've already found us. Why are you telling somebody that made it through 90 minutes of the show, oh, by the way, here's how you can find us? Like, guess what? They already know. You know?
Exactly. When we have people on with us, it makes sense for them to say
absolutely. Yes. You got to peep their stuff out a little bit.
Exactly. You know? But when it's just us, I mean,
check out what makes this song stink.
Maybe that's what we
YouTube.
should do. We should recommend somebody else's thing at the end.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, if we get Pat on the show.
Oh yes.
Yeah. But I'd be fine. Yeah, if you want to throw out recommendations for, because I remember it was a couple episodes ago, and we were talking about like, oh, what are some other YouTube channels you like? And I had realized like, there was a bunch more I could have mentioned that I forgot about. You know, So yeah, if there's something that you're watching that you're into or listening to, then yeah, throw it out there.
And if anybody, I think, when it comes to does it slap or should we eat it,
Yeah.
do we eventually, can people submit?
Oh,
stuff to
absolutely.
us?
I'd be all for it. Because I mean, that's the kind of thing. If we had multiple, we could run through. That's easy, right? Like we could hit a few of those in one show if we needed to.
Exactly.
But
yeah, that's true.
yeah. But I'll make sure I show up next week. I'll have my does it slap or should we eat it list that I'll put in my little
In your
reporter's notebook here.
All right. Sounds good. All right.
Yeah.
Have a good Christmas, everybody.
Oh yeah.